Hello Bama fans! Have you heard what Tua Tagovailoa said about Bama and Auburn? Before we dive into that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and welcome. The recent story involving Tua Tagovailoa and his younger brother, Taulia, highlights not only family loyalty but also the growing influence of NIL in college football. The narrative, outlined in the book The Price by Armen Keteyian, reveals that Auburn offered a substantial amount of $1.5 million to lure Taulia from Maryland to their football program. However, Taulia's decision to decline the offer and stay in Maryland, largely influenced by his brother Tua, speaks volumes about the values and priorities of the families involved, as well as the current dynamics between college football programs. Tua, a legend of the Alabama Crimson Tide, played a crucial role in his brother's decision. According to the account, when Taulia was considering Auburn's offer, it was Tua who emphatically said, "We are an Alabama family. You're not going to Auburn." This simple yet powerful statement reflects Tua's deep loyalty to the Crimson Tide and his family's strong identity with the Alabama program. Such loyalty is not just a reflection of brotherly love but also of the lasting impact that Tua's time in Tuscaloosa had on him and, by extension, on his family. This situation also highlights the power of the relationship Tua developed with Alabama's then offensive coordinator, Mike Locksley, who is now the head coach at Maryland. Locksley and Tua built a strong connection during their time together at Alabama, and this relationship extended to Taulia, who now plays under Locksley's guidance at Maryland. Despite Auburn's much larger offer, the combination of Tua's influence and the respect for Locksley helped keep Taulia with the Terrapins, even with a significantly lower NIL offer. This episode also sheds light on Auburn's football program under Hugh Freeze. Despite its multi-million-dollar offer, Auburn failed to attract Taulia, one of the most prolific quarterbacks in Big Ten history, who even surpassed the legendary Drew Brees in passing yards. Instead, the Tigers ended up with Peyton Thorne, raising questions about Freeze's recruiting capabilities and Auburn's current appeal as a program. For Alabama fans, this story will undoubtedly be remembered as an example of loyalty to the Crimson Tide family. Moreover, it underscores how college football is changing with the introduction of NIL, where athletes' decisions are increasingly influenced by large sums of money. Yet, in the case of the Tagovailoas, the story shows that there are things more valuable than money: loyalty to family and legacy. The impact of this decision extends beyond the Tagovailoa brothers and even beyond the fields of Auburn and Alabama. It demonstrates how college programs must not only offer large sums of money but also build meaningful relationships and cultivate a culture that attracts and retains top-tier talent. Auburn failed in this regard by not being able to attract Taulia, despite a financially much more advantageous offer than Maryland's. This raises questions about Freeze's strategy and whether he can build a program at Auburn that can compete at the same level as Alabama. How will this story end? We'll see in time. And speaking of Jalen Milroe, things have changed. From one year to the next, things can be quite different. Discussing quarterback Jalen Milroe and his role at Alabama Crimson Tide. As the 2023 season kicked off, uncertainty loomed over the quarterback position, with many fans questioning whether Milroe was the right choice to lead Alabama's offense. The situation was further complicated by an offensive coordinator like Tommy Rees, who seemed overwhelmed with the task of guiding the Crimson Tide's offense and didn't see Jalen as his main man of trust. The 2023 season started tumultuously, especially after the disaster against USF, a game that made it clear that Milroe was, in fact, the best option to lead the team. However, it wasn't until November that Jalen began to be put in situations that truly allowed his talent to shine. Now, moving into 2024, the narrative around Milroe has completely changed. He is not only the undisputed starter, but he has also emerged as a strong contender for the Heisman Trophy, a transformation that speaks volumes about his development and the new direction the Alabama Crimson Tide has taken under the leadership of Coach Kalen DeBoer. Milroe's confidence is soaring, something essential for any quarterback looking to excel in the SEC. Under the guidance of DeBoer and his staff, who have already demonstrated their ability to maximize the potential of their quarterbacks. As seen with Michael Penix at Washington, Milroe is poised to reach new heights in his career. The 2024 offensive plan has been designed to exploit Jalen's strengths, both in his running game and in the passing game, which has shown significant improvement from the previous year. The frustrations that arose with Alabama's offense in 2023, often stemming from play calls that did not make the most of Milroe's talents, should be a thing of the past. Now, with an offensive scheme tailored to his skills, what we saw from Jalen in November last year should become the norm in 2024. This means that opposing defenses will have to equally respect Milroe's arm and legs, making his running game even more lethal. This newfound confidence and leadership from Milroe should also translate into notable improvements in his decision-making and the speed with which he executes plays. In recent years, even with Bryce Young putting up impressive numbers, something seemed to be missing in Alabama's attack. But now, for the first time since Steve Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator, there is a sense of completeness in the Crimson Tide's offense. And it all starts with this new coaching staff, who are determined to put their star quarterback in the best possible position to succeed. In 2024, Jalen Milroe will not only post Heisman-worthy numbers, but he will also be the trusted man in the Alabama offense that, once again, keeps opposing defensive coordinators awake at night. The future is bright for Milroe, and the transformation he has undergone in a year is a testament to his talent, resilience, and the new energy that Kalen DeBoer has brought to Tuscaloosa. Let's move forward. Not every player comes out of fall camp with their stock rising, and this is particularly true for three young prospects from Alabama who, so far, have not made as much noise as many had anticipated. While they remain promising talents, the development of other players and fierce competition have limited their opportunities to stand out at this critical preseason juncture. Dylan Lonergan, the backup freshman quarterback, is a name many Alabama fans were eager to see shine. After an impressive debut season in 2023, where he outperformed classmates like Eli Hallstein and even surpassed Tyler Buchner on the depth chart, there was an expectation that he would solidify his role as QB3 behind Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson this season. However, the scenario has not unfolded that way. Coach Kalen DeBoer brought in Austin Mack, a hand-picked quarterback from Washington, who arrives with a year of experience in DeBoer's system and, apparently, is already on par with, if not ahead of, Lonergan. The competition between Lonergan and Mack is fierce, and it will be intriguing to see who gets the first nod to step onto the field should Alabama need to resort to their QB3. Danny Lewis Jr., the sophomore tight end, is another player who appears to be struggling to find his place in Alabama's offense. With the departure of Amari Niblack, there was an opening that might have allowed Lewis to climb the ranks. However, the arrival of Josh Cuevas, a transfer from Washington familiar with DeBoer's scheme, has put Lewis in a challenging position. Cuevas seems more prepared to take on the role of the primary receiving tight end, which means that Lewis, already behind veterans C.J. Dippre and Robbie Utes, may see his snaps further limited. After showing potential in last fall's camp as a redshirt freshman, the breakout season has yet to materialize for Lewis, and he may need more time before establishing himself as a key piece in Alabama's attack. Jaleel Hurley, the redshirt freshman cornerback, has also found it challenging to stand out this fall camp. Hurley arrived this spring with a notable advantage. He was the only cornerback on the roster who played for Alabama last season, although he did not appear in any games. With a revamped defense and a cornerback room filled with fresh talent, Hurley had the opportunity to establish himself, especially as a former four-star recruit and top 50 player in the class of 2023. However, the influx of transfers and true freshmen at the cornerback position seems to have buried Hurley in the depth chart. While he possesses the necessary skills and competitive spirit, his development may need more time before he is ready to compete for a significant role in Alabama's defense. All three of these players, despite their current struggles, continue to be promising talents for the future of the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are young, with less than 2 years of experience in the program, and have the potential to contribute or even become starters down the line. However, the 2024 season may not be the time we see these players shine. The Crimson Tide will need all the experience and mastery of coach Kalen DeBoer in winning tight games to navigate the tough 2024 schedule. If Alabama aims to maintain its prominent position in college football, DeBoer's track record in one-score games will be crucial. Kalen DeBoer is no stranger to close contests. In fact, he has excelled throughout his career in winning situations where the margin for error is minimal. Last season, while leading the Washington Huskies, DeBoer recorded an impressive 8-0 record in one-score games. This performance was not an anomaly but rather a continuation of his proven ability to guide his teams to victory in critical moments. Over his 9 seasons as a head coach, DeBoer has an overall record of 26-6 in one-score games, representing an impressive success rate of 81.3%. This success is even more remarkable considering DeBoer's history at the NAIA level with Sioux Falls, where he amassed a 10-2 record in tight games, leading the team to 3 national championships in 5 seasons. DeBoer's ability to remain calm and effective under pressure is a quality that will undoubtedly be tested in the competitive SEC arena. Nick Saban built a reputation for excellence and resilience. However, even the GOAT had his share of challenges in close contests. During his 17 seasons in Tuscaloosa, Saban had a record of 30-20 in one-score games. Excluding the 6 losses from the 2007 season, this number improves to 30-14, a success rate of 68.2%. Yet, DeBoer's track record in winning these tough games stands out as superior, suggesting that he could bring a distinct edge to Alabama in 2024. Based on current betting odds, the Crimson Tide faces 4 regular season games with a spread of 4.5 points or less, with Alabama favored by very slim margins of 2.5 points or less in 3 of these games. This indicates that the season will be filled with tight matchups where DeBoer's ability to eke out victories in high-pressure situations will be essential. Of course, there are those who question whether DeBoer's previous success in tight games will be replicable in the SEC, one of the most competitive levels of college football. The competition in the SEC is fierce, and the ability to fend off weaker opponents may be less relevant than the skill to overcome the conference giants in direct confrontations. The games against Tennessee, LSU, and Oklahoma, projected to be the toughest of the season, will be the real tests of DeBoer's warfare in close games. However, if there's one thing that can be said about DeBoer, it's that he doesn't panic under pressure. His calmness and strategy in one-score games might be exactly what Alabama needs to stay on top in a season where every victory counts. Alabama fans were certainly not pleased to see their team's position in Dan Mullen's preseason rankings. Mullen, an ESPN college football analyst and former SEC coach, placed the Alabama Crimson Tide in the 7th spot, below teams like Florida State and Michigan, which prompted questions and a sense of discontent among Crimson Tide fans. For Alabama supporters, accustomed to seeing their team at or near the top, especially during the Nick Saban era, this ranking seems like an unwarranted deviation. Even though Alabama is entering a new era without Saban, under the leadership of Kalen DeBoer, the program still boasts a roster full of talent and a tradition of excellence that few programs in the country can match. Moreover, DeBoer is not a newcomer, he comes with a proven track record of success, including leading Washington to the national championship game. Mullen's decision to place Alabama outside the top 5 raises several questions. While he acknowledges the talent of the Crimson Tide, it seems that the unknowns and the transition to a new coach influenced his assessment. However, this logic might seem inconsistent when compared to other teams he ranked above Alabama. For instance, Florida State is in a rebuilding phase and has replaced a significant portion of its star core. Michigan, on the other hand, lost its coach, quarterback, and most of its offense, critical elements that usually have a direct impact on a team's performance. Despite these circumstances, Mullen considered these teams to be in a better position than Alabama to start the season. For Crimson Tide fans, this might seem like an underestimation of a program that has historically always found ways to remain competitive, regardless of changes. The good news for Alabama fans is that preseason rankings, while important for generating discussion and expectations, do not determine the final outcome of a season. Alabama still has every opportunity to prove that this ranking is just a temporary oversight. If the Crimson Tide continues to win and demonstrate the level of play expected of them under DeBoer's new leadership, they are almost certain to rise quickly in the rankings. Ultimately, Dan Mullen's ranking may serve as additional fuel for a program that has always thrived under external pressure and doubt. With the talent and winning tradition that characterize Alabama, fans can be assured that the Crimson Tide will be ready to excel and win prominently. The controversy surrounding kicker Graham Nicholson's transfer to the Alabama Crimson Tide reached new heights this week when Miami, Ohio, coach Chuck Martin publicly accused Alabama of illegal recruiting practices. In a rare exchange of barbs in college football, Martin claimed that Alabama stole his player, alleging that the Crimson Tide engaged in questionable tactics to secure Nicholson's transfer after the 2023 season. However, when confronted with these allegations, Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer responded directly and firmly, denying any wrongdoing in the process. In his latest media appearance, DeBoer refuted Martin's charges, insisting that everything was done within the rules established by the transfer portal. "I don't know anything about, I guess, that comment," stated DeBoer, making it clear that he was unaware of the criticism from the Miami, Ohio, coach. He continued, "Yes, Nicholson, entered the portal and we contacted him. That's how it works, right? So, we did everything we were supposed to do." DeBoer's response was straightforward and resolute, maintaining that Alabama acted in accordance with the norms of the transfer portal, which allows players to explore new opportunities after officially entering the system. DeBoer's implication is that the Crimson Tide merely took advantage of a legitimate opportunity, following regulatory procedures. On the other hand, Chuck Martin did not let the situation pass quietly. During a recent interview, when asked about the Redhawks' special teams situation, Martin made a point to correct the narrative by mentioning the loss of Nicholson to Alabama. Visibly annoyed, Martin did not hold back and stated, "We didn't lose him, he's at Alabama. We know exactly where he is." Martin went further, directly accusing Alabama of improper conduct. "Again, you media, it's all make-believe. No, Alabama stole our kicker. They illegally recruited our kicker and stole him from us. That's a fact." This type of public accusation is rare in college football, especially involving two programs that are not directly competing on the field. However, Martin's harsh words indicate how personally he took the situation, feeling aggrieved by the loss of a key player to one of college football's powerhouses. Despite Martin's outrage, DeBoer maintained his stance that Alabama acted correctly, downplaying the accusations and avoiding a direct confrontation with the Miami, Ohio, coach. For Alabama, the focus now must be on continuing their preparations for the 2024 season, leaving behind the off-field controversies. Players always switch teams, which is normal. This happened a lot with Alabama this very year. Under the leadership of coach Kalen DeBoer, Alabama will need to rely on players capable of performing multiple roles, and Geno Vandemark stands out as a key piece in this strategy. Geno Vandemark, a freshman who arrived in Tuscaloosa with a reputation for hard work and adaptability, qualities that Coach DeBoer publicly praised after one of the team's practices. The transition to Alabama is not easy for any player, especially those coming from outside, but Vandemark has proven to be up to the challenge. DeBoer highlighted Vandemark's work ethic, noting that the player has shown a willingness to embrace Alabama's culture of excellence from day one. "He's a guy who managed to get some snaps under his belt, and we really don't feel like we're losing much," said DeBoer, emphasizing that Vandemark, despite being new to the program, has already proven to be a valuable addition to the Crimson Tide's offensive line. Vandemark's versatility is what makes him such an important piece for Alabama's offense. He has the ability to play both as a wing and as a center, which gives the team crucial flexibility throughout the season. During the fall camp, Vandermark was called upon to step in on several occasions due to the absence of Jaden Roberts, who was recovering from hand surgery. Even with the expectation that Roberts will be back for the season opener against Western Kentucky, Vandermark is likely to see significant snaps, especially considering his ability to fill multiple positions on the line. DeBoer also highlighted Vandermark's mindset, mentioning that he has embraced the intense workouts and the demanding routine of Alabama. This not only reflects the player's commitment to his own improvement but also his willingness to quickly adapt to a new environment, something essential for any transfer who wants to make an immediate impact. The fact that Vandermark is already standing out in practice, adjusting well both at wing and center positions, bodes well for the Crimson Tide. In a conference like the SEC, where trench battles often decide games, having a player like Vandermark, who can be moved as needed, is a significant advantage. Now, as the season approaches, Alabama will have to deal with high-level opponents, and depth on the offensive line will be crucial to protect quarterback Jalen Milroe and open paths for the ground game. The versatility of Geno Vandermark, combined with his work ethic and adaptability, could be one of the deciding factors for the success of Alabama's offense in 2024. What's your opinion? I'd love to see your comments.